MrBeast has been accused of a lot of things, from exploitation to, well, more exploitation. But this week, I've seen the most ridiculous criticism of MrBeast that has ever graced my timeline. Basically, people are accusing MrBeast of everything from being a cult leader to being some kind of totalitarian corporate overlord. And it's all because he bought a few houses. No, I'm not kidding. It's been a bit sensationalized to get the headline of MrBeast bought a neighborhood, but in reality, if he is some kind of totalitarian cult overlord or whatever, he's doing a bad job of it. So let's talk about that. What exactly is going on? Well, MrBeast bought 5 houses on a cul-de-sac that he's letting his employees live in if they want to. That's basically it. So why is that controversial? 2 reasons. One being that some people have this weird vision of MrBeast being some kind of evil spirit haunting the world using the internet. The second being that it gives off the vibe that he might be moving towards his own company town. We're going to address both of those claims today. As for MrBeast being a cult leader-like figure, that's sort of a fair opinion to have. The dude has millions of fans that will literally mob stores just because they heard he might be en route and want to see if they can't get a ham and 2 bottles of Diet Coke for free. But in that same vein, if you actually want to label MrBeast a cult leader, then you're probably going to have to label most celebrities as them too. And that's probably honestly a fair thing to do, using the broadest possible definition of a cult leader. But in the real world, famous people have fans, and those fans are going to follow them, sometimes to an almost blasphemous extent. But that's just human nature. I don't think it's fair to unironically label MrBeast a cult leader, as long as he's not doing any weird culty stuff, like worshipping a giant statue or something. The argument can be made, however, that since MrBeast has bought 5 houses and is letting employees live there, they have to follow MrBeast's words as if he was a cult leader, so that they don't lose their homes. This is a better argument to make. After all, it's kind of obvious that you're not going to want to bite the hand that feeds you, right? But at the end of the day, I think it kind of falls flat for a few obvious reasons. Firstly, because this kind of setup isn't really all that rare. Granted, getting houses from your company is a bit of an extreme version, but how many of you have heard of people getting issued company cars? How about companies that pay rent for a few months for employees that have to move for their new job? Sure, you might be a bit nicer to your company if they're doing so much for you, and you don't want to lose access to your cool things. But does that really constitute a cult? No, just normal behavior. You can scale this down as far as you want, it's still the same. Grocery store employees tend not to have a cult-like belief about the leadership of their supermarkets, just to make sure they don't lose their employee discount. I don't see any movie theater employees proclaiming their love and adoration for AMC just because they can get to see a free movie every week. Those examples might be small, but they're the same thing in principle. Basically, yeah, could he kick them out of the houses if they decide to go rogue? Maybe. Honestly, probably. But they are his houses. That's kind of how the whole thing works. You can extend benefits of your property to anyone you want to, and rescind those rights at a time of your choosing. It's never created a cult in the thousands of companies that give out company cars. It won't here. Not to mention that I'm sure there's all sorts of ridiculously complicated laws governing how you can kick someone out of a house in a setup like this. We live in a country where it can take months to evict squatters or tenants who stopped paying rent. Same things will apply here. He's probably not just going to be able to kick someone out on the same day he tells them. Secondly, he only bought 5 houses. I don't really think that 5 houses, each holding a family, is enough to start a cult. Given MrBeast's number of subscribers, he has access to a much easier way to build a much bigger cult almost immediately. So I don't think it's likely that he's trying to start a cult this way. Now, the company town argument has some good points. If you don't know, way back in the day, it wasn't uncommon to see companies buy up huge swaths of land around their main factory or mine or whatever, but these were particularly common around mines, to build houses and stores and other common amenities and provide them to their employees at a cost of labor. Some of these towns went so far as to issue their own currencies, only redeemable at the stores and other services provided in the town by the company. And they would pay their laborers, at least partly, in their own currency. I think it's pretty obvious why these setups aren't super common these days. It amounts to a new age type of indentured servitude. Sure, it's not like you're enslaved, but your house is owned by the company. You get your haircut at the company hair salon, your kids go to a company school, you buy your food from a company store, heck, you even go to a company doctor. It's not easy to leave something like that. Even with the obvious association to slavery and indentured servitude, these towns thrived. And even to this day, a lot of companies, especially the ones in Silicon Valley, still use a much more sanitized version of this, by providing all sorts of services from bars to barbers on their company campus as a free amenity of the job. You keep workers near work more often, eliminate a lot of the need to leave work early to do certain things, and generally minimize productivity loss from those pesky day-to-day worries. Granted, it's not like they're issuing their own currency or anything to force you to use these provided things, just using the lure of free or reduced price stuff to draw you in and let you do it yourself. It's possible that MrBeast is looking 100 years in the future and is preparing even now for the opening of Beastville, North Carolina. But I doubt it. It would certainly be ridiculous to say that just because MrBeast bought up 5 houses on the same cul-de-sac, he's obviously looking to start creating an environment to trap all his employees to living on his own slice of dystopia. I mean, the people who are parroting this idea probably did not do their research to know that MrBeast didn't even buy the whole neighborhood. What? Yeah. Turns out that despite the headlines, he's only bought 5 of the houses. There's at least 1 on the same cul-de-sac that he hasn't bought. So much for him opening a company town. He doesn't even own all the land, let alone the fact that he's not providing any of the typical amenities given out at company towns. So yeah, I think that for now, it's kind of ridiculous to say that MrBeast buying a few houses next to each other means that he's trying to start his own company town. Though I will admit, we should check back in on that one in 10 years, just to be sure. Just because something is ridiculous now doesn't mean it always will be, except that since MrBeast runs both internet companies and national brands, it would be kind of stupid to localize all that business into one place. Not even getting into the supply chain logistics. What if a tornado or hurricane hit his little piece of paradise? He loses all his business? No. Sorry, company towns are a thing of the past in a future where the internet exists. To be honest, they were probably outdated once the telephone was invented, but whatever. I'm just trying to say that this is ridiculous. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people who want to be able to hate MrBeast just because he's popular, which is always going to happen, no matter who the celebrity is or what they do with their fame. But I don't think those people are the ones that are outraged over this kind of thing. There's a certain subsect of person who subscribes to dangerously far left, socialist and or communist ideologies, and to them, MrBeast is a problem. They'll hate on anything he does because the guy is a successful American rags to riches story that uses the capitalist nature of America to benefit him, his friends, and strangers. He's charitable, successful, and unashamed of it. If you're a person that believes hardcore that the American dream is dead, well, MrBeast disproves that. The American dream is still obtainable to this day, and that tends to make a certain type of person very mad. So basically, the reason all of the outrage against MrBeast is always so ridiculous is because these people don't really have an issue with him or what he's doing, but rather they have an issue with the system that he represents. A system that disproves their dangerously nihilistic worldview. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you have something to add, or even if you think I got something wrong, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I appreciate you. Have a great day, and God bless you.